Hey everyone, it's Kong again, and here's another episode of Should You Summon? As always, I'm going to be presenting high-level overviews using these 4 criteria to help you decide whether this banner and these new characters are worth your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. How they fit into your team, whether they unlock any bonds for any other characters, what kind of content they get used for, and their future availability. So let's get right into this Raid Up banner featuring 2 new characters from Langrisser Mobile, Evil God Kruger and Vincent, and this banner's running from May 6th to May 19th. Like all new character launch banners, it's not a Destiny banner, meaning you have a 40% chance of getting each on-banner character, with the remaining unlucky 20% reserved for any off-banner hero in the regular summoning pool. First, we'll talk about Evil God Kruger, and we might as well start with his name, since it's misspelled, which could cause some pronunciation confusion. You know I'm all about fleshing out context on this channel, so let's hit it. I've seen some low-level murmurings that his name is supposed to be pronounced Kreuger, because frankly, that's how it's spelled. And if we were to read this name in the German way, that would be pretty accurate. The main problem with this is that Kreuger simply isn't his name. Like many of the names in this game, Kruger is a German name. It's originally supposed to look like this, Kruger with the umlaut on the U, and sound like this.
Krüger. Krüger.
The U umlaut often gets transcribed into English as UE, like this, Kruger, and that's fine. But some typo along the line, these letters got flipped. I suspect it happened in the Langrisser 4 fan translation, where you can hear Gizarov's Japanese voice actor trying to say Kruger, but the English text has the name spelled wrong.
Kruger. 反逆者の相手はお前に任せる.
So I guess the silver lining in all this is if you're the person who did the Langrisser 4 fan translation, then you can take some solace in the fact that Zilong Games apparently copied your homework for their official game. Anyways, let's actually talk about him. Kruger is a, you guessed it, Dark and Myth AoE debuffer. He gets a boost to damage dealt for every debuff on an enemy, any enemy, anywhere on the map, up to a maximum of plus 30%. He also converts a buff into a debuff on any target he damages, and this includes AoEs. His 3-cost skill is another one of those rotating skills. Its initial form lets you pick a victim anywhere on the map and curse them. They then become walking debuff epicenters that give 3 debuffs to 3 friends within 3 spaces for 3 turns. Gross. After he nails someone with this, it turns into a big debuff AoE blast that cools down faster, and thus converts back into the full map curse faster, the more people he hits with it. His regular kit has a bunch of the usual AoE debuff stuff as well, but it also comes with a new 1-cost skill that lets him grant a shield to an ally. This shield eats up to 20% of their maximum hit points in incoming damage, and it has some wonky interactions with skills that normally ignore soldiers, so it's pretty powerful. He's a member of Dark Reincarnation, buffed by Bozil and Licorice, and Mythical Realm, buffed by Gizarov and the Sage of the Trees. For bonds, he unlocks the attack bond for bannermate Vincent, and he needs Shalinka for his defensive bond and Gizarov for his attack bond. For content, in PvE, he's on faction for Leviar in the Eternal Temple, and Fenrir in Ancient Beckoning, and he'll probably be pretty good for both. He'll basically do the Bozil role in the Fenrir fight. I don't know if he'll be quite as good as Bozil at it, especially with Bozil's 3-cost skill coming out relatively soon, too. On the PvP side, obviously, he'll be really annoying. The 2 approaches to Rosenseal for debuff teams are banning her or swamping her, and he'll be able to help with that. Being able to plant a self-propagating debuff on the enemy team right at their starting line will pose a big positional nuisance. Obviously, the enemies are going to have to set up kind of far away from each other so they don't spread the debuff around. Also, his shield will force players to reevaluate their current knowledge of who kills who, which will be fairly annoying and disruptive for a while at least. For availability, Evil God Kruger will be coming back on a Raid Up banner alongside his anti-debuff nemesis Rosenseal in late September, so another Raid Up banner for him, no Destiny banners on the horizon. Okay, next let's move on to Vincent, who's annoying in a different way. Vincent is an overwrought, physical AoE kamikaze type unit. His talent gives him up to plus 30% AoE damage based on how far he moves, and when he dies, he hits enemies within 3 blocks with one last AoE explosion. At least it would be one last explosion if it weren't for his 3-cost skill. The passive element brings him back to life with 50% hit points, but still triggers the talent explosion as if he had died. The active portion reverse chain hooks him towards a target, kind of like what Wataru does, and does an AoE burst when he gets there. He's a member of Dark Reincarnation, buffed by Bozel and Licorice, Empire's Honor, buffed by Bernhardt, Leon, Lance, and Rosenseal, and Meteor Strike, buffed by Zerida and Epsilon. For bonds, he doesn't roadblock anyone else's bonds yet, but he does need Ilusha for his defensive bond and Bannermate Kruger for his attack bond. For content, he's on faction for Leviar, Scylla, and Valkyrie in the Eternal Temple, and Jormungandr, Fenrir, and Sleipnir in Ancient Beckoning. He'll work in PvE in the same way that any unit works in PvE. If you like him and you put him in the right team, then you'll be able to clear content. It's PvE. In PvP, he does have a lot of meta buffers, and getting hit with AoEs is annoying. And having a revive does give him a little bit of staying power. I don't see him being quite as disruptive as Leonhardt or Arianrod in terms of pure physical AoE output though. For availability, Vincent will be coming back in early September on a Destiny banner with Claret and Zerida. So if you're really patient, or if you're newer and your resources are low, and you don't really care about Kruger, but you also somehow have Claret and Zerida, then you can wait for September and get a guaranteed Vincent at that time. I guess that's more helpful if you're just pulling one character from this banner and you happen to get Kruger, then you know you can wait and get your guaranteed Vincent later. Anyway, here's the quick and dirty summary for this banner. First we have Evil God Kruger, who is another AoE debuffer. He has a map-wide contagious debuff, and he unlocks the attack bond for Vincent. Then we have Vincent, who does physical AoE attacks. He explodes when he dies, and then he comes back to life again. Okay, just my usual quick reminder about upcoming banners. Next week we should be getting a raid-up banner featuring one of the best healers in the game, Florentia, and one of the Bettys in the game, Betty. The week after that, we should be getting a new recurring banner featuring Shalinka, Tsubame, and Angelina. I'm not sure if it'll be on the same frequent schedule as the classics, like the Elwyn, Leon, and Bernhardt banner, but it does come back. It is on the schedule again, so we'll see if it becomes a new fixture. The next major update after this one is on June 3rd, and that'll feature 2 more characters from Zlong's pet obsession du jour, Langrisser Reincarnation Tensei, and that's Patsir and Towa. They're not overwhelming PvP meta units, but they do have their niche, which I'll discuss in Should You Summon when the time comes. Alright, that just about covers it, so let me know in the comments if you're planning on summoning or skipping, and how your summons went if you did decide to dive in. I'll have a big summoning and gambling video up within the next couple days. As usual, I saved my monthly and weekly gambles like I usually tend to do. I like to really hope that I'm going to get super luck on all my rolls all in one place, just because that would be so exciting. We'll see if that happens. As always, thanks so much for watching, best of luck to you all, and I'll catch you in the next Should You Summon. Extra special thanks, of course, to our Langrisser tier channel members Levitt, Derek Gunderson, and Kyle Greer-Brown, as well as all of our gold tier members, including our new members, for your generous support. Thanks for helping me keep this channel going.